Welcome back to the show. I am your host, Rush Limball, the most dangerous man in America, broadcasting in my Attila the Hun chair for the EIP network at the Limball Institute for Advanced Conservative Studies, where, as you know, the learning never stops. It's Open Line Friday, where, as you know, we take your calls and talk about your things, the things that you find so important that you need to get my astute and impressive opinions on. Let's go to Murph. Murph, you're up next on the EIP.
Dittos, Rush.
Thank you, Murph.
Rush, baby, long-time listener.
You had great parents, Murph.
Thanks, Rush. They were huge fans.
As I said, great parents. Now, what's on your mind, Murph?
I love your reviews of video games, and I was wondering, in this bad drop-off of AAA games, what are you playing these days?
You are correct. It is definitely a huge drop-off in the AAA games these days. Honestly, I've gone back to playing a little older games. I'm sure a lot of you have a backlog of games. I would pick up stuff that I was interested in when it was on sale, knowing I'll get to it later. Now is later. State of Decay 2, probably the best zombie simulation game you can get. Been playing that for a while now. I've taken a crew of between 9 and 12 people back and forth through 5 maps now. I'm ready to wrap it up and go on to a harder difficulty, because you can adjust the difficulty to where your characters are literally living in a 28 days later kind of situation where one little scratch and they're dead and they're coming after you. It gets pretty intense. Fantastic game, but it's old. And of course, the staple in my daily gaming routine is Hitman, World of Assassination. The game is 10 years old. I'm addicted to the freelance mode, where you just start with nothing and you have to go through you open up a dossier and you pick where you're going to go. 3 cities got to be taken on. Well, if you complete those, then you get 4 cities, then 5, then 6. You complete the whole thing, you get a reward. You start with nothing, so you really have to know what you're doing, but it's a lot of fun. But the other times, if I'm playing gaming now, it's probably going to be something retro. I mean, there's a lot of new stuff that look like old stuff now. It's a whole category. You wouldn't believe it. 10-year-old me wouldn't believe what they're doing. I grew up on Atari, and then we're the generation that moved on to the Nintendo. And in fact, there's a whole slew of games, a whole handful of games that I never really beat as a kid. Used to play them all the time, but never saw the endings myself. I have a whole list, and when I get a chance, now and then, I go back to it, and I play a little Nintendo. And I just recently won the championship in Tecmo World Wrestling, which is really hard. I beat Faxanadu for the first time. Used to play that all the time, never got past maybe the Misty Town, the Town of Mist. Zelda 1, first and second quests, did both of them in about 4 sittings. Castlevania 2, Simon's Quest, the most confusing and broken game ever. I decided it was time to see it through, and I did. And Blaster Master. I have more on the list. Those are just the ones that I've gone to recently. And I have more for the SNES and Genesis and so on and so forth. But retro games are fantastic. The corporate AAA games are tanking because, well, we all know why. The idea that we were so limited back then. They could make a Legend of Zelda game that looks like Link to the Past, but literally with 100 dungeons in it now. Can someone please do a remaster of Maniac Mansion that isn't point and click? We can just walk around and do the things ourselves. And while you're at it, make a sequel. Yeah, I know. Day of the Tentacle is a sequel, but we all know it's not the same, and it's not as good. A proper sequel. The same concept of multiple ways to end the game, if you explore enough, or use people against each other with information you find. Oh, and while we're at it, how about a proper sequel to Zombies Ate My Neighbors? There have been some homebrew sequels that are very playable. Some of them are very hard. There are so many sequels and reboots that could be done. We could be in a golden era of retro gaming. And after the success of T2, that game that just came out a few weeks ago, the Terminator 2 side-scroller, how many 70s, 80s, and 90s franchises can we get the games we deserve now that technology could not deliver at the time? Dawn of the Dead. I would love a Dawn of the Dead game. We get to the mall, have to clear it out of zombies, have to secure it, have to fortify it, then fight off the bikers at the end. There's so many franchises where the money is just sitting on the table of things we loved never getting the proper video game they deserved. The Goonies, E.T., Cloak and Dagger, Taxi Driver, Falling Down, Flash Gordon, all the cartoons we used to watch, Thunder the Barbarian, Battle of the Planets, Dungeons and Dragons, Masters of the Universe, Super Friends. Some really great stuff up until now. Retro gaming has become a main staple in my library, and...
Rush.
Yes, Murph?
Can you do a top 10 of the modern retro video games?
Well, I guess we're going to try, since Murph requested it. The top 10. Rush's top 10 of modern retro video games. I can't do it without some honorary mentions. Some aren't going to make the list. They're a lot better than 10. So, runner-up, right off the bat, I'm going to give Terraria a shout-out, just because that's one of the first games that really was like an in-depth Super Nintendo game, and I still love it. Still love Terraria. Hotline Miami gets a runner-up. Same reason. One of the earlier ones, top-down twin-stick shooter, and running around and clubbing people with 2x4s and such. Great game. Drova I just recently played. It's almost like as if you had Skyrim. If Skyrim was a Dark Souls game on the Super Nintendo. Retromania Wrestling, of course. If you played the arcade machines of the WWF games back in the day, this is basically the same thing, a continuation of it, just with more independent wrestlers and such. A lot of fun. Ender Lilies and Ender Magnolia, both games, really, really good Metroidvania games. Paint the Town Red. Have you heard of this? It's basically very over-pixelated. Even your characters are big square-headed, bobblehead-looking guys. And you just get a scenario, biker bar, pirate bar, just different scenarios. And everything's calm until you throw the first punch. Then it erupts into chaos. And as you hit people with chairs and throw knives at them, or ram cleavers into their faces, the pixels break off. So they have a skin layer, and then they have a skull layer, and then they have the insides. It's really, really funny. On computers, the computer version gets customary maps. So people have done some amazing maps with it where, you're running around Five Nights at Freddy's and what have you. McPixel. If you like comedy stuff, stupid comedy stuff, it's basically a game where they give you one little scenario and you have this little crazy MacGyver-type MacGruber named McPixel. Every screen is basically just you interact with different things and you see the different outcomes until you figure out the sequence to do the things you need to do in order and not do the things that will harm you. And then you advance to the next screen and so on and so on. It's pretty funny and fairly clever. But here we go. The EIP Top 10 for Murph on Open Line Friday. Number 10, I'm going to have to go with both Blasphemous 1 and 2. Some of the best Metroidvania-type games you can play, and a very, very dark theme with very evil monsters and bosses and things. Number 9, Thy Sword. Thy Sword is one of the games that kind of started my retro kickoff in the beginning. It's a very simple concept. You just start with a screen of monsters, and your character starts there, and you're either a barbarian or a Valkyrie. And you just kill all the monsters, the gate opens, you move on to the next screen. Very addicting, very simple. Number 8, Vampire Survivors. Did not even know what this was when I bought it. And at first, was a little confused. Automatic shooters. Now it's a thing. And it's a very addictive game when you're just mauling through screen after screen of mobs of villains. And just picking up those gems gets so addicting, you're always looking for just one more run. Number 7, Hunt Down. Hunt Down looks like it was made on the Super Nintendo. You pick from a crew of bounty hunters, and you're basically run through 2 levels and then fight a boss. And you're taking on gangs of a dystopian future cyberpunk kind of setting. A lot of fun with 2 people when you're playing couch co-op. Number 6, Darkwood. Darkwood is the poster boy for Eastern European video games. Everything about it is bizarre and strange. Feels like another world. You basically wake up in a forest. The forest is conquering everything and turning everything into darkness. It's the same formula as a million other games. During the day, scrounge for things. At night, fight off a horde that attacks your house. But the difference is, in this game, you progress to different areas and different maps. There's a point to it all. It's not just survive each night. There's an end. You have to get out of the forest. Great game. Number 5, Heroes of Hammerwatch. Anyone that enjoyed a good Dungeons & Dragons module back in the day can appreciate this. It's basically like a Nintendo version of Dungeons & Dragons. Create your character, level them up. RPG-like with character development, and you just basically take your character and help towns and run into dungeons and fight monsters and what have you. Number 4, Judge, spelled with a Y. I don't know why. To be different. Judge is a top-down twin-stick shooter, almost like Hotline Miami, but made by a really great company called 10 Ton Games. And it's almost as if you combined Judge Dredd and RoboCop into the same character. So you're kind of like this robotic lawman, and every level is just an overhead view of an area where you have to take out the villains and rescue the hostages. You get upgrades like ricochet bullets and things like that. Hours of fun. Number 3, I'm going with another double. Party Hard 1 and 2. For those of you that have never played Party Hard, but enjoy the Hitman series, this is basically Hitman on Nintendo. You start with a big open world level. It's only the size of your screen. For example, one might be a college frat party, and it's the overhead view of the roof off of the building. You can see all the people interacting, doing what they're doing at a frat party. Your character has to sneak around the party and kill everybody on the board. You can poison the punch. You can blow up speakers. You can sabotage all sorts of environmental things. But the trick is you have to do it where no one sees you do it. So it's like Hitman. If someone sees you do it, the whole place erupts into chaos. They'll call the police on you. The police will chase you around. It's a disaster. So you want to do it like stealth-wise. Lots of fun. Number 2, Door Kickers Action Squad. Any of you who've never played this don't know what you're missing out on. Basically, every level is a giant building, and it's filled with terrorists holding hostages and whatnot, setting off bombs and holding time bombs and things. And your little action squad, your little SWAT team crew, you get to choose from. You get to pick different people from it and send them in. And basically, it's a side scroller where you're running through a building, kicking in doors, blowing away terrorists, and rescuing hostages. It really gets funny when you play with 2 people couch co-op and your partner happens to be a trigger-happy psychopath. Number one in the top 10 of Rush Limball's list of modern retro video games. The game is called Infernax. Very odd name. Very memorable game. One of the best ever made. It's Snerbley and I's favorite. We both played it at the same time, and we're constantly going back and forth, exchanging notes and commentary about where we were and what we'd accomplished. This, folks, is how you do it. Infernax is like a game you should have played in 1990, maybe 1991. That's the way it looks, that's the way it plays, and it has so much into it. It's a very in-depth game. There's a lot of hidden endings, hidden bosses, hidden things you can do, side quests, all these different things all crammed into this small little Nintendo, Super Nintendo Genesis package. It is done so well. I can't praise it enough. I'm really hoping this company makes more. It's a medieval type game. There's codes to it, so if you use the Contra code, your character becomes a little Contra guy. So you can run through the whole game with a machine gun. Hidden characters to unlock that make the game play differently with different weapons and things. And every achievement is the name of a heavy metal or thrash song. And I'm not talking about just like achievement, Ace of Spades. I mean achievement, Slaves of Pain. I mean, these people know their Sepultura. So there you have it, Murph. A whole bunch of games. You can go back now, and if you haven't heard of any of them or played any of them, have at it.
It's depressing how there's nothing new that's exciting these days. I'm going to pick up Infernax tonight.
I can guarantee you won't be disappointed. What we could have if everyone stopped hiring the uncreative and leave them to cry in their cars on TikTok while we have a renaissance of American entertainment.
A new golden era.
Well, Murph, we can dream. Back after this.